Hey everybody, wanted to welcome you back to I Told My Wife I'm Paying Bills. I'm Slim,
And I'm Black. Back again, once again.
and we are back. And this time we actually are going to have a very different special episode. Reason being is you all know that both Black and I are Xbox gamers, correct? So today we have a special guest who is not an Xbox gamer. Today we actually have my cousin Ruby Rose. It's Ruby Rose. um, and she is actually she's a streamer, but she also plays Nintendo Switch, correct? Right?
Yep.
Okay, Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. She's a PlayStation gamer as well. Are there any other systems that you play?
I'm also a recent PC baby.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get into the different types of games that you play like that, and we're gonna see if you can convince Black and I to play more Switch games. Both of our wives have Switch, and actually, right now in my house, I'm the only one that doesn't have a Switch, which is hilarious. Um, but Black, have you ever actually used the Switch before?
No.
No. Oh, is the Switch at your house in use at all?
It is my wife has to blow it off just like her desktop.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, hopefully by the end of this, I can at least get you to play one game with your family. Hopefully, and we can actually see how that works out. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually start out with Ruby introducing herself a little bit. Ruby, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, type of games you like to play, any other type of nerd culture stuff that you like?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm itsrubierose, and I am addicted to Overwatch. I keep
Okay.
telling
Oh, cool.
myself it's not, but the truth has to come out. I have a love-hate relationship with that game. I like a lot of strategy games, adventure games, side scroll games. I'm very much like that gamer that plays a little bit of everything, but
Okay.
my two top favorite has to be cartoony violence. That's just the main thing that I really look for in games. My all-time favorites would have to be like Cult of the Lambs, Don't Starve Together, Among Us, which you're just these little jelly bean rest
Oh,
astronauts.
I've played that. I've played
Just
that. Black,
like,
have you tried that
yeah.
before?
Which one is that one?
Among Us.
I've heard of it. No, I've never tried it before
Oh,
though.
it is actually
Oh,
pretty fun. It started as a
it
mobile game.
brings out the best and the worst in people. I can say now with pure honesty, I can lie my way out of a murder. I know I can. Oh man, but
Yeah.
yeah, no,
So,
I also play a little bit of PlayStation.
mhm,
That's just been my baby. I've been a Sony girl since childhood, and I think the other reason why it was so easy for me to get a Switch
mhm.
was because if I wasn't on the PlayStation, I was definitely on some type of Nintendo device.
Yeah, yeah. So, and see, here's the funny thing about it. So, Black and I are both, old school Nintendo gamers. Um,
Mhm.
and so Black
But neither one of
about
you play on the Switch,
well, and
though.
yeah, and that's the funny thing. Black, about when did you stop playing? Because you played the 64, correct?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. So he hit the 64. You didn't touch the GameCube though, right? Or no, you
I
did.
did.
You did. Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
That
So
was the last one.
okay. See, so he stopped about at the GameCube,
So
and
what about you? Missed the whole Wii phase?
I didn't like I didn't like the motion the and that's what because Xbox and PlayStation followed suit after the Wii was so extremely
Oh
popular.
yeah, they came
You
out
know,
with the Kinetic,
yeah,
the Microsoft Kinetic. I remember.
exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So they followed suit, but it was never very popular for Xbox. I believe they tried to do it for the Xbox One, and it was just they packaged it with the console when it launched, and it was a huge freaking disaster. So
Yeah, yeah. So is the Connect actually we actually had two of them. We actually had one for the Xbox One and one for the Xbox 360.
correct.
And it was a way different experience than the Wii. And as far as Nintendo gaming, I pretty much have still played up to now. I've even played the Switch because of some family games and different things like that. However, actual deep into gaming, I think I stopped with Nintendo. Like I want to say it was man, it probably was the Super Nintendo when I actually stopped deep Nintendo gaming, and then each other iteration, like I've only touched like one or two games on each one of those. The 64, I think I've only played Bond. No, I think I played Bond and whatever Star Fox game is on that. Um,
I,
and
I
then
see you see Ruby. He stopped before I did. So
Yeah, no, like I look at back at my gaming life, and it's just all like it's always been Sony and Nintendo right there for me. It's always been a GameCube, it's always been a Game Boy, a Game Boy Advance, the stupid ass SP. Like it's been all those things, but also with Sony, it's I. My brother had a PSP that we shared. He got the what was it? The Vista, the Vita,
yeah,
yeah, Vita, the
yeah, I think
Vita.
it was the
Hmm.
Vita. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Vita.
Well, I actually still have my PSP, and I actually said, like when I took it to Colorado with me a couple of weeks ago when I went on a work trip. So, but my PSP is actually modded, so I can actually play other games on it, which I need to actually try to do that to an old laptop I have. But yeah, the PSP was really good to me for years and still is. Like I am so happy that that PSP is still working and I use it. I break it out like every couple of years or so. I'll break it out just so I can play all the games on it, and then I let it like end up dying out again. And then but you know what's funny, Black?
What's that?
Our friend is the one who got me started back on my PSP after over 5 years or so. It was probably more than that.
You
Um,
talking
I,
about Will?
Oh, Will. Yeah, I was talking about Will. Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
because basically what happened was I lost the charging cable for my PSP. Have no clue where it went. It probably just got tossed somewhere or whatever in a move or something. And
Mm.
then, when we were talking about our original podcast to start up whatever, remember, I don't know if you remember actually, I think it was the day we recorded at your house with our old podcast. Um, I was talking about the PSP or whatever, and then he was like, "Yeah, I got an extra cable if you want." And so one of the times when we actually hung out and we actually went and had dinner, he brought the cable and I was able to start playing my PSP again. So yes, I this PSP is actually was a really good handheld system, and I've actually played some of those other Nintendo handheld systems too after the Game Boy. I had a Game Boy though. I had the original monotone Game Boy.
Yeah,
So yeah.
frick.
So what about those, Black?
You,
No, never played them.
Never played
Never, never.
any
you,
of these.
I don't like handhelds like dog about
Wow. Wow. Um Game
So that's
Gear?
actually what I was about to say. Like Microsoft has not really touched the handheld game, which is very odd to me.
I
Well,
think it would be a
Like
waste for them. I think it would be a waste of time, a waste of money for them. I don't think they'll be
at this point,
successful.
oh, for sure.
well,
Yeah,
well, well, in all fairness, Microsoft actually kind of did a different thing about it. The way Microsoft is handling it is they have like, you can actually get the backbone thing and I don't really think that's Microsoft a specific thing, but you could actually turn your phone into a game system because they have cloud
yeah,
gaming.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they do because you see the controller hooked up to the cell
Right.
phone and all that good
Yeah,
stuff. So
exactly, exactly. So you just get a
no, I
little
wouldn't game like
backbone.
that either
Yeah, yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I would ever do that, because I
Yeah.
can't really get in. I can't throw my controller because then I'll be throwing my phone. No, just kidding, just kidding.
Not only that, those games do be eating up a lot of your space. You're just like, oh, I can't have nothing nice and nothing else on this thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Definitely, definitely.
well, I mean, if you have like an Android, like some people say, they like, oh yeah, you can expand it and all
But
this other
you
stuff like
know,
that. But yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, you can do all types of stuff with Android. I'm just
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there is ways to
right.
actually expand Apple. They actually have different
The Apple.
types of expansion, things, but they're like all third party stuff. So, but
saying.
anyway, so all right. So going back into you, Ruby. Can you tell me what it is? Is it more nostalgia or is it like the gameplay? Like what is it that draws you into playing more on those systems, those two systems specifically?
Well, like I was saying earlier, like my main type of gaming is like cartoony, violence.
Mhm.
And I've just been rocking with Mario ever since I was a child, and it's just been hit after hit after hit. Like Mario Kart 8 on the Switch
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
gorgeous. I did not think that a game that does the same thing over and over and over again, it looks so crisp
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and tiny frame system, but it does.
Mm.
Yeah. So and now have you played Mario Party before?
I have played Mario Party.
You know what? I feel like you've
I
played with
don't
us
have it for
actually.
my Switch. It makes me sad. Yes, and I get so aggro when I lose.
So,
Mhm.
Black, this is where I'm going to try to actually get you in on playing the Switch. Um, Mario Party. So this is basically a well, I loosely I'm gonna say loosely family because this is almost like Monopoly. This game will actually like make families like send
Right.
somebody to bed early for getting shouted at. So, but anyway, um, Mario Party is basically a board game, electronic board game, and
Mhm.
you go around. You pick the different characters from Mario from all the different Mario games, right? And
Mhm.
you go around the board and you have different like little mini games you play. You also have like all these other little challenges you do. And when you go around, you have the main objective is to get stars. At least the last one. I can't I think it's all of them. You have to get stars. Person with the most stars at the end of however many rounds you choose to go around the board, person with the most stars wins.
Mhm.
And so that, like I said, is a good family game. However, this is the big asterisk on it. If you and your family is very competitive, do not play this game because there's like throughout the game is where you steal stars and you do different things. You knock people back so they have to go back to the finish line and different things here and there. So it's kind of
I am
cutthroat too.
targeting you. I am targeting you. You are my enemy. I do not care if you're Princess Peach. You
Yeah.
will be crying in fourth place.
And that's pretty much exactly how the game goes. I mean, but it's a fun game. But it also depends on your level of how well how well you can actually handle that. So
See,
I
I grew up on Wario on the Wii, and that thing was atrocious with the motion sensor bar. So I'm used to the pain. I'm gonna get there.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's probably pretty much where it is, where all the issues is because where like it draws you in, and then it almost makes you feel like you want to go after. Like she said, a person will target you. So like if you're looking for a family game, I suggest that Black. Let me ask you this first: is your family competitive? Your wife and the girls are they competitive?
They're very sore losers, so I gotta say yeah.
Okay, so then basically you're not gonna play this game.
Yeah, yeah. They too they're too they get angry when they lose.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to play. They be like, I don't want to play no more, and I ain't never playing this game again. I'm like, good gracious, why how'd y'all get to be such losers?
Oh man. I mean, honestly though, I really think it's a fun, worth a try. But then again,
Mhm.
too, yeah, if it's gonna be one of those things where everybody's gonna end up angry, don't do it. Do not do it. Oh.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They be beefing with each other all the time. I don't know why.
All right, so Ruby, can you give us another game that you might think that we should try? Give us throw us your best Nintendo Switch pitch so that we can actually try to get into it now because we've actually heard of Zelda, the newest Zelda. Have you tried that yet?
I have not tried the new Zelda. Do not shoot me. I am not a Zelda head.
Oh, that's all
That
Why?
right.
is
Hold
like
on, hold on,
one
wait a minute.
genre.
Hold on, wait a minute. What's like, you play on Nintendo? You don't? You're not a Zelda person?
Never been a Zelda fan. And I know every time I tell that to somebody, they're like, wait, hold on, flip it and reverse it. What are you about right now? And honestly, like I just that was my brother. My brother, he was all into the Zelda. Like Breath of the Wild, all those games. And don't get me wrong, those games are also gorgeous on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
It's medieval type of genre has never been my vibe. I've always been a sci-fi girly. So I'm
So,
gonna
so
nerd out. I'm nerd out because I'm also interested in like weird indie games too
Mm-hmm.
for like Nintendo, the Nintendo line. And if I had to recommend a game that's also co-op mode, uh,
Mm-hmm.
is Pikmin 4. Pikmin has been all across the generations
I've
for
heard of Pigment. Yeah, I've heard
Nintendo.
of it.
Yeah,
Same,
Mm,
same
and it
here,
is
same here.
damn fun.
mm.
And the
So
story is interesting. Yeah,
no, not to cut you off. I was just going to ask you because
you're good.
I heard you mention that you like sci-fi. What do you think of Metroid, or have you tried ever to play Metroid?
I did when I was younger, and this is gonna sound really weird. I don't think more graphics added to the newer games
Really?
as people made it seem. It was like the same story, just like 3D.
Right, right. Yeah, because I played Metroid Prime, and I put the other one after that. I forgot what it was
Right.
called. Metroid Prime, and I beat both of those games on the GameCube.
All right,
And
so I have,
you
I
know,
have.
and I'm a huge Metroid fan. You know, because I played Super Metroid. You know, back when it was Super NES, and I always thought it was a great sci-fi game.
And
So
I
I just
thought,
wanted to
and
ask
I
you
thought
about
the
that.
same, but like I don't think that the newer games really added to the story. I feel like I could play the older games that I grew up on, the 8-bit little music.
Oh yeah. Those, yeah.
Okay, guys.
That'd be
So
cool.
here goes another one of my super bomb confessions. Like in Mario, I did not touch Metroid, one of the signature Nintendo games. I didn't touch Metroid until it was put on my PSP.
You know what? We gotta have a talk, Chris.
My first time touching Metroid, I think, because it used to be an arcade game. Am I not right? Am I mistaken?
I don't.
I don't.
Was it?
I don't
I
remember it
don't
in the
think
Or am
so.
I
arcade.
thinking of a bootleg game?
I don't
Bootleg
think it was
version?
in the arcade. I
Yeah,
they
yeah.
so
No.
so here's the thing though. There's been other games that's been arcade games like that. So I think that's probably it. But then also, if you played it in the arcade cabinets, there are some places that actually took Nintendo games and threw them in a cabinet. Like they actually had where you can actually select a different game and play it in the arcade cabinet.
Oh wow.
So it
Yeah,
could be
that
that.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that. That might have been what it was. Because I just have vivid memories of it playing and just having the 8-bit music and
Hmm.
Metroid being like 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, too, I think I don't remember which Comic Con, but I remember seeing a Samus, someone dressed as Samus in one of the Comic Cons
Yeah,
I've gone
Samus
to.
Aran. Yep.
Yeah. That was actually
Mhm.
really dope. So, that would actually be cool to see it again because I didn't get that close up. I'll have to actually look through my pictures and see, but I might have lost that one when my other hard drive died. So, all right. So you're saying right now, if we wanted to pick a game, he's in the sci-fi, in action, a little bit of fighting, very little or a lot of fight. What do you say, Black? A little bit fighting.
Oh, I would say pretty much. I'm in the fight games like I'm in the sci-fi games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of that. I'm
All
a
right.
huge fan of both. Sorry
So
about that.
trying to sell us, which game would you tell us to start with?
Black, have you ever played Overwatch?
She hooked
Can I
on the Overwatch.
introduce you to my drug of toys? Can I introduce you
I,
to
I,
my
I've never played Overwatch. I don't.
On the
I'm a
Switch?
because Overwatch reminds me of what's that game that was so annoying that all the kids played.
Oh,
Fortnite?
Fortnite.
Fortnite. That's what it
Oh,
reminds me of. And I'm like, I hate Fortnite with a passion, and it sort of reminds me of Fortnite. And I
mm.
said, no, I ain't messing with it. But it's a pretty popular game, believe it or not.
So that game, I got introduced to it on my PlayStation 4. I know you asked for Switch games, but like
Hmm.
I also it's the cozy and cuddly games for me. I'm a Pikmin 4 girl. I play Animal Crossing. But if we're
Uh-huh.
talking sci-fi, cartoony violence, I really do recommend my drug of toys, which is Overwatch. It just is what it is.
Yeah. So
There is like actual lore to the game. And if you dive into the lore, it also has a lot of cybernetic and a lot of robots and a lot of kind of like, what if AI takes over the world? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't get all the story bits come in pieces, bits and pieces overline, but
Mhm.
they've been doing a really good job on their YouTube channel, just weaving the story all together.
Yeah, yeah. So I will say this. I mentioned this at the top of the podcast, that you were a streamer. I actually watched you play Overwatch, and I think I've watched you play uh Animal Crossing on your
Hmm.
stream. So I think it was like
Hmm.
Mario Day. Like the last time I saw you play Animal Crossing, it was like Mario Day, and then you were getting the Mario outfit and all that, and somebody told you to like overclock the day or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that?
I have remembered that I missed Mario Day, and my friend came in my stream. My friend Pa. Hey Pa, I gotta start there in the podcast. She came in and she told me how that I can go into my settings on the Switch. Anybody who's listening, you're getting a free hack. You can go into your settings on your Switch, change the date and time to a day ago in a different time zone, whatever. And if you miss an event on the Switch, or if you miss an event in Animal Crossing, it will start it over again because it's the day before. You didn't miss nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I
Once you
saw.
unlock everything, then then you could just fix your clock and go back to normal and not be late every day.
Yeah, yeah. So I did see that. I saw when you did that, and that was actually really interesting. I was laughing at that. I was like, oh wow. I was like, that was a nice little trick there though. But yeah, watching you play Overwatch was actually pretty cool. It is very cartoony, and I kind of agree with him. I haven't tried it yet. However, I may try. I may try it possibly. So, but talking about PlayStation 4 though. So Black, have you touched any PlayStation? I cannot remember. You have not touched any PlayStation games,
I
correct?
have never played any PlayStation game.
Okay.
I have
Wait. Not even the Tony Hawk games?
No.
Back in
no.
the day?
I'm not a skateboarder, but the Tony Hawk games are very very popular. Uh, and I should know because Tony Hawk was developed by Activision,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Well, like
everybody.
what's really what's really funny about that is um I love telling this story. I had a PlayStation 1 when everybody had the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 was old news by the time I got my PlayStation 1.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
At the time, Pizza Hut was doing this promotional thing where they're like, you order a large pizza and you get a CD-ROM of a bunch of demo games. And me and my brother played the Tony Hawk games like 20 times, the same like two free levels.
I used to do that with all the PlayStation games because those PlayStation demo discs used to come out all the time, and yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My gosh, I'm exposing my age right now, but I'm okay with that because that was a fun time. Like you get a
Mhm.
pizza and you get free games. Granted,
Yes.
it's 1 to 2 free levels and that's
Hmm.
it.
Yes, yeah. I
But
had.
hey, we started doing like speed run tests on those things.
Mm.
Yeah, I actually had that in my PlayStation day as well. So yeah, I'm also telling my age here because that was actually really fun to do. Just go over because if you couldn't afford to buy a whole new game at the time, because when we were
Uh-uh.
younger, see, I was in my early-ish 20s then, so I
I
was
was a
working.
kid.
But I still couldn't afford to, shell out $40 for a new game. I was getting used games, but still, for to try a different game, I would actually do a demo disc. So
Mm.
I definitely remember those. So they actually used to come
My
in
my
magazines too.
mom my mom at this point, by the time the PlayStation 1 came out, my mom was like, "How many more consoles do you need? You play the Nintendo, you play the other Nintendo, you play the other Nintendo." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"You don't understand, Mom. The technology gets better and better every
Oh
time."
yeah,
Yeah,
It
definitely.
sounds like a scam when you say it out loud, but it's so true.
yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So now you're on the PlayStation 4. Have you thought about getting a 5 before I ask you any more questions about that?
I have, and my feelings about it are conflicted.
Mhm.
Not too long ago, I won a grant through the broadcaster through the 1000 Dreams Foundation, and they helped me get my PC setup that I have now.
Mhm.
I definitely need to upgrade a lot of my PC because it's been a couple years,
Mhm.
but the gaming on a PC that has just like 1 terabyte of memory versus a console that sounds like a 727 jet plane in the sky, it makes a world of difference.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, nothing beats like a non-fan sounding device.
Okay, so the reason why I was asking too is, um, there's a couple different games, that's comes out, and I wanted to kind of get your opinion on, like, have you played any of the Drake games? What are those called? Because I got the whole set for my PlayStation 4. I just haven't played them. The Uncharted. Have you played any of the Uncharted games at all?
I have I have played the I have played the Uncharted games. I have streamed the Uncharted games, and I like to have fun, and I like to joke around with the people that I'm streaming with, and
Mhm.
like I just call it the male lore craft. Like I'm looking at the male lore craft. I'm having so much fun. Woo!
So
That's what he is, though.
yeah, pretty
That's what he
much,
is.
pretty
Because
much, yeah.
Law Craft, Law Craft is there first. He is
Successful.
the original Tomb
They're going out on adventures.
Yeah,
Raider.
see, and I kinda wanna try it out because, I wanna try it out mainly because I've got I don't know how many of the series, and, I've got my PlayStation 4 hooked up to my TV up here in my office,
I
but
believe there are 4 chapters or 4 games in the Uncharted series. I believe. I could be wrong.
okay. Yeah, well, I gotta look in the disc I bought, but I just bought it on a whim because I wanted to try and get more PlayStation gaming in. I just I really need
It
to
is
do
fun.
that.
It does have its own storyline.
Mhm.
I just, I grew up on Indiana Jones films, so I felt like, oh, a, a young strapping gentleman just going on adventures. He don't look like nobody I'm related to, but he's all on adventures.
Yeah, yeah, and so far from what I've seen, that's kind of what made me want to do it that well. Like, well, excuse me, play that game. Because it looks like it's pretty fun, and basically a
It
Tomb
is.
Raider version.
It is.
So
I'm just a part-time hater.
no, it's all good. It's all good. Um, so even though I know he will never touch a PlayStation, if I was trying to convince Black to play the PlayStation, what game would you suggest to him other than Overwatch? We're gonna leave Overwatch off of it, but
You know what? You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you because like I follow a lot of people, a lot of different streamers that stream a lot of different content.
mhm.
There is this one Star Wars game um, where the main character is a red-headed guy.
Jedi Survivor. That is the one that I am currently trying to play. I need to get off of Grand Theft Auto and play that game and finish it. Yes.
Yes, get off of Grand Theft Auto and play that game. I
No,
have
I
not
have it.
personally played that game,
Hmm.
but I've watched streams and it is interesting.
Now I,
I'm
I
like,
have
oh dang.
I think Black. I don't remember if I told you. Did I tell you to play that game to try it out? Did I say
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
about it?
yeah. I was going to get it. I was going to buy it,
Hmm.
but typically, when a game first comes out,
Hmm.
especially like Fallen Order, I didn't get Fallen Order until 8 months after it came out. Because with Star Wars,
Price drop.
with Star Wars, I'm a bit fickle because
Uh huh.
you know who I watch it for.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
so
The
it
dark
takes me a while
side.
to even try a Star Wars game.
Right.
You know,
I think that's what I like about this Star Wars game specifically because it is like a standalone
character. Yep.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he doesn't have anything. He has no ties to the main story. So the fact that his story is so interesting, and mind you, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I am like the not go-to person to talk about with Star Wars. That game made me want to sit there and watch this stream and maybe one day get the game if I can get a PlayStation 4 or 5.
Yeah, they've actually had some really good stories in that, and it's a really fun game. I need to finish it. I'm pretty close to the end right now. I've already fought. I had to fight Darth Vader at one point, and that fight was so hard. I'm not gonna lie. I actually had to turn down the difficulty level on that one. That level was really hard. Darth Vader is no joke. And then I wasn't even playing with Cal Kestis. I was playing with someone else. So yeah.
I was just funny. 'Cause I knew once you said Darth Vader, I was like, yeah, he probably didn't make it.
No, yeah, he was no joke. I mean, really, Darth Vader. But the story of it is actually really good and how it works out. So this is actually after the fall. This is after Order 66. I think it's a couple of years after Order 66 actually now.
Hmm.
So you think Jedi Survivor actually is a good reason to get it, but then again, do you know of any PlayStation exclusives that you like that you've seen or or these tried that we would actually possibly like, keeping in mind he's like a sci-fi type or a little bit of a fighting game. Is there anything that you can think of?
Um, so this is definitely like less fighting game and more sci-fi. Black, have you ever heard of Detroit Becoming Human?
I have. Matter of fact, Jeremy, one of my coworkers, he's actually one of the guys under me. He actually said to me, he says, "Detroit Become Human is actually a very, very good game." And
Oh my God.
and-
It's top tier. Top
yeah,
tier for me.
because if I'm not mistaken, is it like a zombie apocalypse game, or is it like a?
Cyborg uprising, like,
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
oh,
very,
okay.
yeah. But like Android uprising, like
Mm.
what Westworld should have been and then flopped and didn't do because HBO, you don't got your stuff together. But that's neither here nor there. Westworld, if it was better, done being a hater, I'm done.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's all good. It's all good. So,
Yeah. Now, was that on PlayStation? That was on PlayStation 4. Detroit Become Human.
I think I believe it was a PlayStation exclusive. I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, it was. It
mm,
was. That's one of the ones that Jeremy tells me about all the time.
yeah,
Uh, he said, well, you should just get a 4. You just get a PlayStation 4 and play that because they're cheap now.
yeah,
And I said,
Oh yeah, no,
yep,
it's super cheap now.
mhm.
yeah. So,
You know how good that game is? I would play retail price all over again for that game.
oh
Wow,
wow.
wow. Okay.
That's how good that game is. That game is phenomenal. I'm gonna play it again after talking about it so much.
So,
Yeah.
have you actually seen Ruby any of the Spider-Man games? Because I believe those are exclusives as well.
Those
Yeah.
are exclusive. I love um the last Spider-Man game. I believe it's Ultimate Spider-Man. I believe so.
Mhm.
And then the Miles Morales game, I do have that one. I do. And I played it and it was so much fun. And unlocking the different skins.
Mhm.
It's okay. So this is where that Tony Hawk nostalgia kicks in. I love the fact that both in the Miles Morales game and in the other Spider-Man game that came out right before it, you can do like different stunts in the air and get different bonus points for doing different types of flips and
Mhm.
turns. And I just love how creative people are because then people are just like making these beautiful videos online of their sick combos. It just makes
Mm.
it makes a little heart swell.
You know,
Yeah, yeah.
go ahead,
No,
Black.
no, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, go. No, no, go ahead and finish because I was gonna go off on a different tangent real quick. But go ahead. What you about to say, Black?
No. I was going to say that the Spider-Man is a very it's a bomb game. It's a very good game, but it just reminds me too much of Batman. You know, and the combat is
Yeah.
just like Batman. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay,
And
well,
one of the Arkham
I never,
games.
yeah, I never was. Yeah, exactly. The Arkham games were super popular. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not a huge Spider-Man game. I used to beat him down on Marvel vs. Capcom. So
I think with superhero games, there's only just so many ways you can make it unique
yes,
and not make
exactly.
it like
Yeah,
its own standout. I feel like I don't know. It's always like your main button is like your main attack, and then you get to
yeah.
do a special move with your B button. Yada 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 yada.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
interesting would be how they actually, because the Wolverine game is coming, and I'm interested to see exactly how they're going to make the combat in that game. You
Mm.
know. So
Mhm.
that'd be
I
interesting
hope
to look
it
forward
better
to.
have like a million lunges. Like the Wolverine is way known for his pounces and lunges and ground attacks. Let's go.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
see,
I'm ready to see that.
yeah, see,
I
now
hope
you
I hope
talking
they
his
deliver that.
language. You talking his
Yeah,
language
yeah,
here, right
yeah.
there,
Because you
talking about
know
Wolverine.
that is my favorite Marvel character right there. So I'm ready. I'm ready to see.
Yeah, and actually, Black Ruby is into comics as well. She's a comic book collector. She's rebuilding her collection as she told me earlier. What's
I'm
your
gonna try.
what? Say again.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, hopefully. So what's your comics style? Like what well, not just like what publisher, but like what type of style do you like? Do you like the darker style, or you like the cartoony like your games?
So with my comics, because there's so many different stories out there, I love a little bit of everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And more importantly, me growing up, like I was 7 years old, and like my other cousin that lives in New York, he was 14 at the time.
Mhm.
So a lot of his comics was
Mhm.
Superman, Batman, uh, a sick some collection of like Silver Surfer that I wish I still had.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, but when it comes to my comic book reading, I just like being transported to different realms. So
Mhm.
I have a little bit of horror in my collection. I have a little bit of like uh, My Little Pony because I'm a brony. Hello. At Marvel, I got DC, I got independent artists that I
Nice.
find, from reviews and stuff like that. Like I love storytelling,
Mhm.
and movies and books, they are their own little realms, but comic books is just something special. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, and we've actually have a an artist in common. The artists have done that do the Tuskegee ears. But you
Mhm.
said you found that artist. I cannot remember the artist's name, and I feel so bad about this. But you found that artist through a different comic book. Do you know what I'm talking about? I gotta remember that. But you and I actually talked about this before. There's that comic, the Tuskegee ears I'm talking about what where it's
Yeah.
like the 4 or 5, I think it's 5 kids that fly the airplanes, and they were like training on Tuskegee.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think I remember having this conversation with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that artist is so dope. And matter of fact, that's a comic series I think I'm gonna let you borrow next and check it out. Um, but we're actually coming up on time here, but it's pretty funny that we kind of naturally floated to comics because our next episode, and Ruby's gonna join us for that, is going to be talking about the comic that Black and I was discussing. It's going to be the Tower of Babel, and we're going to talk about the Tower of Babel, but we're also going to talk about Justice League Doom. Actually, Black, I meant to tell you that earlier today too. I did finish the book, and I also
Mhm.
watched the rewatched the movie. I took some notes on it and stuff like that too. So either way, we're gonna go ahead and do that in our next episode. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this episode here. Everyone, this is just the introduction to Ruby, so hopefully she'll be back for another one. um, we
Hey.
because I do want to talk to some streamers, so she's probably gonna be back for one of those streamer episodes. And again, like I said, I have to contact my niece because I want to talk to her about streaming a little bit as well. Because imagine Black and I trying to stream playing Gears of War 3 when we actually finish it. it was
Oh my gosh. That,
that would be crazy. But I do want us, when the new Gears come out, I do want us to play the new Gears, so
oh yeah,
try that
definitely.
out. So but either way though, and I definitely want to play with Chris. Chris, anytime Gears comes out, I always like, Chris, we got to get on it. So, that's another thing too. Chris, me and Chris play Gears. But um so we're gonna go ahead and cut this episode off now. And we want to ask y'all to come back and listen to the next episode. The next episode is gonna be Tower of Babel and Justice League Doom. Ruby's gonna join us for that. But for right now, if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at toldmywifepodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Instagram at toldmywifepodcast. Find us on Facebook. I told my wife I'm paying bills. if you want to get in touch with Rubie, what's your socials?
Most of my socials are it's Ruby Rose with ITS and Ruby spelled RUBIE. And on the bird app that recently died, it's Ruby Rose underscore. That's where you can find me.
Gotcha. Okay, so yep, and then that includes her streaming. She's a Twitch streamer.
Mhm.
So, um, but until then, though, please come back. We want to thank you, everyone, for listening. This was really fun. Um, but until our next podcast, I'm Slim
And I'm black.
with our guest Ruby.
See you guys.
All right, and thanks again for joining us, and thanks for listening, everyone.